Hello, how are you? I hope you're all feeling well, and everyone should be gesund, stark, und freilich, begashmis und beruchnis. Everyone should be healthy, strong, and happy physically and spiritually. All those that need a refuah shlema should be healed immediately, and Hashem should stop the magefa now. Today is Erev Shabbos Parshas בהעלתך, and we will speak about one of the mitzvahs that we are commanded in this week's parsha. But first, we will start with one of the Pesukim, the Rebbe's new kapitel, which is going to be related to the theme that we're talking about today. And the pasuk is pasuk Kuf Mem Hey of kapitel Kuf Yutes. Karasi b'chalev aneni adinoi chukecha etzeira. I call out with all my heart, answer me, Hashem, so that I'll be able to keep your statutes. So this pasuk is talking about a call, a cry of man to Hashem for help. And this week's parsha, we speak of one of the mitzvahs is to make trumpets and blow the trumpets. When do we blow these trumpets? In the parsha, it talks about the journeys of the Yidden, and before every single journey, they blew the trumpet. But in particular, there's two other occasions. And the pasuk says that whenever v'chisavoyu milchama ba'artzachem, which means when you go to war against an enemy, so one time that we're blowing the trumpets is when we're going to war against an enemy. And then in the next pasuk it says, Uviyom simchaschem, uvamayadechem, uvaroshech hatchechem, usekaitem b'chatzotros, al oiloi seichem, al zivchi shalmechem. And in the days of your rejoicing, on your festivals, and on your new moon celebrations, you should blow on the trumpets when you bring the sacrifices. So there's a long talk of the Rebbe printed in Likutei Sichos, volume 13, on בהעלתך, and at the end of that talk, the Rebbe explains the inner significance of this mitzvah. I'm just giving over concisely one small point that the Rebbe mentions. What we see over here, primarily, there are two times when you're meant to blow the trumpets. One time is when you're going to war, and the other time is a time of celebration, a holiday, when you've won the war, so to speak. So what is the lesson? And over here we see one of the beauties of Teiras HaChasidus, that it's a program which addresses every level, no matter where you are on the spectrum, whether you're in the highest place or level, so to speak, or whether you're in the lowest level, so to speak. Both are really equal in the sense they both have to move, change, become better. And this is the inner significance of this mitzvah. What is the blowing of the trumpets? The blowing of the trumpet brings a man to humility. He looks at himself and he says, wake up! Do you have a warrior alertness? Are you fit? Are you in top shape? Look at yourself. Make yourself better. Strive for excellence. That's what the blowing of the trumpet means. So, before you're going out to war, what does the war mean? The war means the war with your nefesh habahamis, the personal struggle, like we mentioned many times, against addictions, against habits, against limitations, whatever it is. So we're saying, we're acknowledging there's a struggle. And guess what? The struggle is constant. Every single day there's an inner struggle. So what do you have to do? Blow the trumpet. What does that mean? Understand there's a battle going on. And unless you're aware that there's a battle going on, who knows what could happen? By the way, there's a saying that I once read in one of these Svarim that tell Hasidic tales, that there was a master and he was talking to his disciples, and he told them, you have to imagine the animal soul, the Yetzer Hara, like a highwayman who's chasing after you all the time with a big hatchet ready to chop off your head. So the disciple asked his master, Rabbi, but what do I do if I don't feel that way? So the Rabbi answered, so then that's the biggest proof. He already chopped off your head. So in other words, to succeed in the war, you have to have an awareness, to be on guard, to be careful, and to be in top shape, so to speak. And that's the first blowing of the trumpet concerning war, when you're in a struggle. So that's one level. But guess what? Then there's another level. It's after davening. The time of war is davening. When you're trying to rise and develop yourself further, that's especially when the Nefesh HaBahamis will bring you what's called machshavas zaros, weird, strange thoughts falling into your mind the whole time while you're praying. Why? Because these are strikes, counter strikes of the animal side trying to bring you down. So that's the battle. Shas Sloisa, Shas Korova. But then there's after prayer, where you might become complacent. You prayed, and you knocked out the Nefesh HaBahamis. You dispelled and banished all those thoughts that came to your head, and you actually rose on the ladder. There was improvement. And you feel that there might be improvement. So now comes another blast of the trumpets in the time of a b'yom simchaschem. And what is that? The dangers of complacency and indifference and relaxing and chilling out. Because now you think, you know what, it's not prayer, it's not the time of war. I'm not in a situation where I'm actively engaged on the battlefield. So therefore I might be able to relax. So over here we say no. Even when you're, so to speak, on a higher level, even when you're, so to speak, in a better place, and you're not involved in the battle, you still have to blow the trumpet. Why? Because everyone has to wake up. Never be satisfied. In Chassidus, there's a lot of talk about this thing called Svias HaRatzon. When a person pats himself on his belly and he says, I'm good, I'm real good. And the person should never fall into that trap too much. Because then, as the saying goes, if you're not going up, you're going down. So Chassidus talks very much about this evil of complacency. I would say that in the Rebbe's view, the greatest crime against humanity, which we're all guilty of, is that we haven't tapped into our full potential. We have much potential that hasn't been developed. And why does that come about? Because of the disease of complacency. So that's the second trumpet. When you're already, so to speak, graduated from a level of the battlefield, now you're in a state where there's peace. Also the trumpet has to be blown and said, wake up. In English, in the secular world, there's a concept called sharpening the saw. That idea means there's always work to get better and better. That concept of striving for excellence. That's the second level of the blowing of the trumpet. Just to bring you another place where I've seen this concept, a beautiful idea, is I once read in a Sikha, the Friedrich Rebbe, where he says, a Chassidish Verbringen, a Chassidic gathering, is like Para Aduma, is like the red heifer, the mitzvah of the red heifer. And the Friedrich Rebbe explained, it's a mטמא הטהורים ומטהר הטמאים. And it was explained that somebody comes to a Chassidic gathering. There's two types of people. One person, he feels he's so far removed, he's so soiled, he's so dirty, he's so low. What kind of connection does he have to some holy day? The Alter Rebbe's Chag HaGeula, or whatever the day is on the calendar, which is very holy, and you're meant to tap into it. Could be Pesach, could be Purim, could be Gimel Tammuz, whatever the day is. And he feels that he's far, he's distant from this because he's so low. Such a person has to come to a Farbrengen, and what does he have to hear? He has to hear, no matter where you may roam, you could always come back home. This date is connected to everyone. This holiness is connected to everyone. Just dive into it. Shabbos is coming, so just tune into it. Connect to Shabbos, and you'll be elevated. That means mטהר הטמאים. Before he came to the Farbrengen, he thought he was soiled, he thought he was impure, and by going to the Farbrengen, he was uplifted and he became purified. Then there's another level. mטמא הטהורים. You could have somebody who comes to Farbrengen and he looks at himself, I'm good, I'm real good. Why? Because I learned so much, because I daven so much, I don't speak Lashon Hara, I do so much mitzvahs, I'm on so many boards. He looks at himself and he says, I deserve an A+. I want to thank me for being me. I'm amazing. So such a person has to go to Farbrengen and hear that arrogance is the greatest sin. And that Hashem says, everyone is close to me, except the one who's arrogant. A person who's arrogant pushes me away. So you need humility, something like that. And on the contrary, because you're in a better place, because you know more is demanded of you. So before he came to the Farbrengen, he thought he's a done deal. He's finished. He's perfect. He's perfect. He doesn't have to change. When he goes to the Farbrengen, what he has to walk away from the Farbrengen is that mטמא is הטהורים. He didn't even really begin to work because his arrogance is out of control. So what's beautiful about this word is that the bottom line is that the Chassidish Farbrengen shatters the status quo. And the same thing is over here with this mitzvah of the trumpet. It covers everyone. It doesn't make a difference where you're holding. It shatters the status quo. There's got to be a change. Now, for one person, the change is to walk 2 inches, and for another person, the change might be to walk a mile, depending where you're holding. But each person has to listen to the call of the trumpet, which is, wake up, and to respond accordingly. Hineni, I'm ready to change. I once heard from somebody in the name of a rabbi that Judaism consists of God's call and man's response. This is a very true line. Isarusa de leila, isarusa de latata. Isarusa de latata, isarusa de leila. And this over here we said today in the pasuk of Tilim, how David calls out to Hashem. Sometimes we call out to Hashem and we say, help! And that's the way it's meant to be. You understand that you need Hashem's help. But there's also Hashem calling out to you, Yainkel, Yainkel, wake up! The blow of the trumpet, which is meant to give you a feeling of humility that you have to still improve. And you have to improve every single day of your life. Posting from my home, Be'ez Hashem Yisborech. Good Shabbos, your man in Melbourne.